right, going to do a quick walkthrough of our sweep arm again. I know we did it in class, but I want you to be able to do this on your own, and hopefully this might help answer any questions with not being right there in front of you. So with that, we're going to get started. So here we have our SolidWorks, and to get our part, we've started a part. First thing we're going to do is start with our sweep. So the sweep we need to create two curves for. So the first one is going to be the sweep path. So we're going to select our top view. We are then going to go and click on our sketch to enter sketch mode. Now we're going to draw our path. And so we're going to start off by making our L shape. Hit escape to stop that. And then we're going to dimension these lines up. So we've got 2 inches and 175 or 0.75, and then we have a radius in here also, half a inch. Put that in, and we're going to put that in. Now that we have our path, we can exit our sketch. We can go over here and we can see that we have our sketch 2. I'm going to go to isometric, hit spacebar. Now we need to draw our cross-section shape that we're going to sweep along there, and we want it to match up with this point. So we want to select our right view, and in this case our right view. Then I can go up and do a sketch, rotate this around. You can see that we're looking at our part. I'm going to rotate that down, or our sweep path, and you get these concentric circles going from our origin of our sketch. So I'm going to just pull these out, draw 2. Again, it doesn't matter the size. All we need to do is get 2 circles, and then we can dimension this. So our first outer diameter is our 0.375, and then the inside is going to be 0.25 diameter. Now we've got that, we can exit our sketch. We can then rotate this around. We can take a look at that. Now we go to our features. I'm going to hit deselect everything by hitting escape. Sweep boss base meaning adding material. So now it is asking for the sketch. So in this case, I'm going to click down on my sketch here, and I'm going to select it from this drop down, sketch 3. Then our path is going to be our sketch 2. It gives us a preview, and we can say OK, and that is our sweep. So that's the first step of our making our part. The next thing we would need to do is make the revolved end. So on this one, we're going to select and I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so I can see my planes a little bit better here. Our front view, and I'm going to sketch on that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in right over here to this end so I can see it a little bit better. First thing we need to do is put in a center line. I know the center line is going to come off this origin, so I'm just going to draw this out here and just drop it down. I'm going to then start our shape. So again, our shape, I'm going to start here. Now, I want to draw this shape. I'm not going to do it all in one big step. I'm going to take it in multiple steps, but I'm going to make it closed, and then we'll make the inside. So again, start our origin. I'm going to come up. All I'm trying to do is get our rough shape of our part here. And all right, come all the way down here and close it. Now it turns gray. We know we have a closed loop, and that is the start of what we want. Now I did this because there is some additional geometry. Sometimes when you add more and more complexity to our geometry, when we start adding dimensions, things can move and change and do all that kind of stuff that we really don't want it to do. So I'm going to take a smaller step, add the dimensions in here now, and then once the dimensions are kind of where I want them, then I can then finish off the shape by putting in the other part of the geometry. But in this case, let's go through. Let's just start doing some of our dimensioning. I'm going to click on our center line first so I can start with center line dimensioning, and I'm going to go to this outside and pull this down for our diameter, and that's going to be a 1 inch diameter that we're going to do there. The next one is going to be to this outer point right there. And that is going to be 0.85. And then we're going to come to this point, right? Let's see here. Yes. Okay, so this point right here, and that is going to be 0.74 right in there. And let's see, we're going to then add some width dimensions to this. So I have my diameter still on, so I'm going to just hit escape, get out of smart dimension, and now I'm going to go back in. So now I can dimension the length of this line, and that is going to be 0.25. I'm going to dimension the length of this line, and it's a little small, so I'm going to zoom in, and that is going to be 0.06. And our last one here is going to be the distance from this line to this end line, and that is going to be 0.1. Okay, now we do have this other line in here, and this one is actually the same as this point right here. So I'm going to just add in a relationship, add relation between this line, and notice how it grabbed the center point, and I don't want that center point. Sometimes it'll pop up on you all of a sudden, and you won't even realize it. But add relation, click on that line, click on that point. We're going to make that coincident. Now we've got that relationship in there. Okay, so this is our shape so far, but this is not our final shape. We need to make the inside. So I'm going to draw some more geometry coming over to this edge. I know I'm going to want to line up with this edge here, and then I'm going to come down to some point. I don't know, I can't see where I'm going to go, but I'm going to put a dimension in here. So I've got that. I'm going to add these dimensions in right now just because it makes it a little bit easier to do. So center line distance here. So this is going to be our 0.62. And then the other one is going to be right to this point. So I know that that's going to line up with our inside diameter of our sweep that we did, and that's going to be 0.25 for our diameter. So I've got that in there. And the other thing we can take a look at is this is still not fully defined. So let's just grab this and see how it's moving. Okay, so even it snapped there, it didn't get a relationship. So I'm going to add a relationship in here, add relation. This point, this line will be coincident again. So now I've got that in there. Okay, so now I've got a shape with multiple loops in there. So I've got to get rid of some stuff. So I'm going to go through, use our trim. We're going to use the power trim. I want to get rid of this bottom edge of that line. So I'm going to click and drag across there. Same thing over here, the bottom edge of this line, click and drag across there. Once I do that, then it can recognize that this is a closed loop in there, and it grays it out. Now I do have this other piece of geometry down here, and I'm going to click on that and just delete that off. Now if we take a look at this again, it's blue. It's not connected to our origin anymore because I actually trimmed that part off, so it got rid of that relationship. So I want to add in another relationship here. Oops, I had a line selected, add in another relationship. We're going to go from this line to our origin of our sketch, and that will be coincident also. And now when we have that, we have our entire closed loop, and it is all turned to black, meaning it's fully defined. So let's exit this sketch. We'll go to our features. We're going to do a revolve boss base. It automatically picks that up. Full revolution, looks good, looks right. Spacebar, isometric view, we can see that. We can spin it around. The only thing left to do is add in our little notch here. So I'm going to select the front view again. I'm going to go to sketch, And now I'm going to draw a sketch on this face over here. So what I'm going to do is add in a center, well, actually I'm going to add in a line, make it for construction. It essentially is a center line here, but we're just going to add that so it's horizontal. And now I'm going to select my center rectangle, go onto the center line that I just added, click, and then pull this back, and it goes right to this edge here. So I'm going to just click on that. Again, this shape is bigger than I need, but that's okay. All I'm worried about is this width. So I'm going to add in a dimension for this width, and that is going to be 0.1. Put that in there. And again, this height I don't care about. I'm just going to cut all the way through this part. So I'm going to exit my sketch now, go to my features. I'm going to do an extrude cut, and I'm going to rotate this around. And I want it to go through all, from the center out one way, through all through the other. So we're going to go through all, both surfaces. And it looks like that is in the right location. It's going through everything we need. We can say OK. Now we've got our entire part created. At this point, I would go and save this part out. So go up under File, Save As. Make sure you save this part. Make sure you have this part and our other part for class next time.